Hey everyone, Sal here. Welcome back to another Ruthless progress video. Unfortunately, probably going to be the last one for reasons I'll get into here shortly, but for now, let's take a look at gear and such. Level 83, almost 84. Pretty well overcapped on resists. Still rocking the Immortal Flesh. Got a couple other gear upgrades elsewhere, bought a couple things. Bought this Void Scepter, which is, for me, essentially just a single stat, which is +1 all fire spells. Helmet, I think I had this drop at some point. Still using the same amulet as before. I upgraded rings. I think I threw an Alec at an Amethyst, and Transmute Ogged 2-stone I had. I've been like collecting rings and white bases to eventually potentially use on or use crafting stuff on, like fossils and things like that. Have done a little bit of delve. Yeah, this counts as a little bit of delve, so kind of hilarious, but that is the nature of Ruthless. Yeah, bought this shield as well. It's probably like an Alec or something. I do have 2 4-links, been using 3-link Fire Trap and Flame Wall, and 4-link Righteous Fire. Just because of how the damage numbers and such worked out. Here's your currency tab. I've spent quite a number of Alex just, running maps and such, getting completion. Things of that nature, maps. Have dipped into reds, just done a couple of tier 11s here. The Wasteland map boss is absolutely annoying, by the way. He spawns consecrated and desecrated ground. I honestly could not have told you he did that before playing Ruthless, but makes it a massive pain when you can just barely inch the boss down and suddenly he's regenning 6% of his health a second, and then Maven is there to heal him as well, so that has been interesting anytime I've run this map. Let's see, in terms of the actual Atlas, like I said, just dipped into tier 11s a little bit. Mostly sticking in yellows right now. Still have a handful of white maps to complete, like Shore, and then quite a number of yellows. The only tier 7 I have is Frozen Cabins, I think is what it is. Oh, I picked up a couple this morning, yeah. For the longest time, the only one I had was Frozen Cabins. This morning I helped someone kill Burial Chambers, possessed, juiced, Soul Eater Burial Chambers boss. On the last portal. I wasn't even sure I could do it, but ended up getting completion that way, so that was pretty nice. And then I had a Kirak mission that got me Necropolis. So yeah, that's what it's looking like right now. 60 out of 115 here. Bonus objectives, and then a few more points than that for Maven, and I've done the mini Eldritch bosses. Don't remember what it's called, Hunger and Black Star? Infinite Hunger? Yeah. And then the big boss is the Eater of Worlds. Yeah, I think that's right. Anyways, strategy. Basically, a common complaint in Ruthless right now is there's one viable Atlas strategy, which is try to get maps back. Emphasis on the try, and definitely not guaranteed. So the way I've decided to do that was went up here, grabbed the 2 shaping nodes, went over here, grab Commissioned Officer, 2 more shaping nodes. I started to dip up into here, into the pack size, because this is a multiplier for every type of loot, including maps. 12% in total. So I definitely think the wheel is still worth getting as part of like your core stuff. But dip down into these extra 1.5% chance on each side for Kirak missions. And I think around that time I finished my first temple. So it was a tier 10 temple, which I ended up getting like 3 tier 10s, a tier 9, and a tier 8 from, something like that. Took me forever to run, but also got a lot of rares in the process as well. The belt I got, the boss still drops a guaranteed unique. The belt I got is like 51% anger effect or something, so not the greatest. Definitely could have been resists or rarity or something like that, and that would have been better, but either way, that made me realize the best way to go is probably master missions. Specifically, Alva and Nico are far and away like some of the better things I've gotten loot from. A lot of people are saying like the Delve cities are great for maps specifically. Alva, obviously Temple is great if you're fully spec'd into like this, and this, and this. So basically you're going to have an easier time squeezing as much out of each incursion as you can. And then it only takes 3 missions instead of 4 with this. Then the Vol Flesh Merchant probably just straight up drops nothing in Ruthless, but even if it dropped like an extra transmute or something, that's still worth picking up, I feel like. So yeah, I mostly just started tagging all of the chance for extra missions. I did pick up the Sulfide Infusion because that's kind of, a grindy thing. I went this way first after picking up these Kurak nodes, and then I started picking up Alva nodes. And the plan basically was to, or is, if I ever come back to this character, is to basically try to stockpile missions with the collective, 10% extra chance across whatever maps I do, and then I'll spec into the things that actually require the incursion to be run. So I'm just prioritizing the extra chance first because I know I have enough spare completable maps. Like, not that I have them in my stash, but there are some that I could complete to finish out these last couple points. But I suppose with that out of the way, on to the reason I am not as keen on continuing as I thought I might be. I don't know, it's just grindy. I don't hate the mode or anything, and I've enjoyed what I've played so far. I think solo self-found normal mode is just more my speed. If my, say, hand health and time allowed it more, I would definitely be looking at Ruthless more, specifically solo self-found Ruthless. And if I come back, it will probably be as solo self-found in the future. But right now, I just feel like there's enough in the main non-Ruthless game, especially in solo self-found, that I still enjoy doing, that I don't need the extra challenge or pushback from Ruthless, so to speak, to make the game interesting. I do think this is a good mode to have around. Like, again, I have enjoyed it and think it's good that they added it as an option. But I do think it's going to occupy that space where a lot of people will gravitate towards playing solo self-found, whether they're in softcore or hardcore, I feel like, just because of like the compounding nature of the type of person the game mode attracts. So what I mean by that is, if you're playing Ruthless, you're probably someone that doesn't care about things taking longer, or whether you play a lot or little, you're okay with the grind that Ruthless represents. And the same can be said for solo self-found. So if you're someone who plays solo self-found and you're checking out Ruthless, that means you're probably just going to go straight into solo self-found. If you're someone that plays Trade and plays Ruthless, you might be more likely to check out solo self-found and Ruthless, because you're like, okay, it's already going to be insanely hard. What's the extra step of going solo self-found? Honestly, I feel like the difference between Trade and solo self-found Ruthless is not as big as the gap between Trade and solo self-found normal mode, which I'm slightly surprised by, but also kind of not. So to, I guess, give a little more explanation as to what I mean by wanting to play solo, like more interested in solo self-found than Ruthless at the moment. Like, there's still all sorts of strategies and things of that nature, and builds and items and things like that I have not yet experienced, and for me, solo self-found is just a better environment in order to do so. It is slower than Trade League by a lot if you haven't played, just because Trade is the most powerful mechanic in the game. You get access to every other Trade player's items, essentially, that they don't want, which is going to be most of what they find. So for me, Solo Self-Found strikes a better balance of like investment versus fun type of deal. Like there are some off meta builds I could start in Solo Self-Found that I know would go pretty well, and also some meta builds I enjoy, and strategies that are both meta and off meta that I like doing or want to do or want to experiment with, and things like that. And then on top of that, one of the things I tend to enjoy is crafting items. So yeah, that's just essentially straight up not a possibility in Ruthless. Maybe like in the future with Ruthless standard, either trade or Solo Self-Found, that could be a possibility. But yeah, I think that timeline just doesn't agree with me right now. It's not to say it won't in the future and I might revisit it or something, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think I am actually going to play this build, Righteous Fire Juggernaut, in Solo Self-Found. I was thinking of starting with an EA Ballista Champion or Elementalist, but I think the like soft requirement or major benefit of Deity and Dawn kind of puts me off a little bit, and I just know how to navigate like the progression and gear more of Jugg. I know a little bit about like what it would take to get an EA Ballista build going, like, you know, farm a 6-link shortbow with Porcupine cards or something. I could try to target Deity and Dawn doing various things like that, you know, Expedition, whatever else, Harbinger for Ancient Orbs, things of that nature. But with Righteous Fire, it's more like, you know, essence based, which you want to go into essences anyways, most likely. So yeah, I think I'm just more leaning towards that, and I have a couple of videos I want to do regarding the build as a Solo Self-Found League starter. So yep, that's pretty much it for me. Hopefully this video gave you some insight, and if you're thinking about checking out Ruthless, probably a bit late in the video to be saying this, but I'll post it in a comment too. If you're thinking about checking out Ruthless, I would definitely give it a go. A lot of people are trying it and loving it and saying they're going to stick with it full time, and you know, they haven't lost steam. I've been seeing them in global chat and whatnot. But even if you don't enjoy it long term like that, I think it's good as like a one-off experience. You know, play through the campaign, dip your toes into maps, see if you like it from there. That would be my suggestion. Anyways, hopefully this video was insightful or helpful or entertaining in some way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.